With your background, obviously we've had a lot of conversations around it, but you have that entrepreneurial spirit and you had it from a really young age, founding a company in college. Do you think that you've always been on that path for starting your own company, or what did it look like when you were younger?
Yeah, I mean, I personally do. I think that I had kind of the entrepreneur bug in me from a very little age. I remember like selling mistletoe on the side of the street because I lived close to a Christmas tree farm, or I'd be the kid that would go and like mow lawns in the summer to make money, and always trying to like hustle and make money somehow. And I think that then going into college, I was grew up in a little north of the San Francisco Bay Area. So when I was, in kind of the 2000s.com, it was an exciting time in the beginning, I guess you could say for me. I was like, oh, all these cool companies are starting and there's hundreds of millions and billions of dollars. And so that kind of excitement got me even more interested in entrepreneurship. And then that's what kind of turned me on to wanting to start my first software company while in college.
Looking back, even as a kid, you sold mistletoe. Was it more that you saw the potential product out there, the need for it, or you wanted to make money? Was there a driver behind it that made you really think, hey, this is what I want to do?
I think money is a big driver for me in that, as a kid, money was the end goal, the outcome. And then it was hey, let me brainstorm on how is the easiest way to do that? What are the different options that I have available to me? I think as a kid, you don't have like an infinite number of options. So it was really like what's within reach that I can do that I can make money with. So I think it's all about like having some kind of motivation. And for me as a kid, it was motivation to have to make money. So then I could end up buying like some video game systems and buy video games.
So from selling mistletoe to Sendoso, looking back, is there something you think, wow, that was really fun to create?
I mean, Sendoso is obviously the number one for me, and that was super fun to create. Outside of that, I think in college, I would say in college there was two startups. One, my very first startup, which was the one that I would say like I got a legal permit to start, so it was more official than anyone. It was actually more of a services company, but it was called Market MySpace, and I created MySpaces for some businesses, including Guy Fieri's restaurants. If you've watched Food Network ever, before he was famous on Food Network, he was from close to where I grew up, and so I created MySpace pages for his restaurants, and then helped him get a ton of votes on like the Food Network challenge. And so that was kind of an exciting time because it was like I started something, I did it, and I saw results, and it was exciting. So that was probably one of the most exciting ones. And then that really then got me kind of momentum and gave me confidence, I guess you could say, to start maybe a real business, which ended up being a software company that I started in college called All Student Rentals. And that was something that the university that I went to gave some money to fund it. Got a couple other entrepreneurs involved, and the company was maybe about 10 people by the time we sold, but it was a good foray into building software. We had tens of thousands of users. We're making in the hundreds of thousands of revenue, so it wasn't like a major success by any means, but for me at the time, as a college student, that was something that felt like an accomplishment.
I saw a meme the other day talking about how they wish you could put music on your Twitter page so that when people came on, they could get to know you better. And in the comments, someone mentioned, it's funny how everything comes back around because this was old school MySpace. Isn't it funny how those things come back around? With all of your various work experiences at places like TalkDesk, Pecora, Yapstone, how did they help prepare you for what you're doing today in founding Sendoso?
Yeah. So, after starting the software company in college, I got the opportunity to sell it to a company in San Francisco, and really thought that was a great opportunity. It got us into San Francisco, which was really the heart of, Silicon Valley in my eyes in terms of where, the coolest startup companies start. And really the goal there was it got me involved in a company that was farther along and, had the resources and the entrepreneur founder. And really I thought about it as another learning experience too. And so I moved when I went to work with that company, moved into more of a sales role. And so that kind of got me to focus my career for the next 8 years on sales exclusively. And I think sales was something that kind of came natural to me. It's something that I love to do. It's something I still love to do. And so over the course of, those 8 years, I really exceeded expectations and really just crushed quota, and was a salesperson at a couple different companies, and learned a lot about how to really close big deals, enterprise sales, and really talk to customers and prospects, and build a very early sales process too. So that was at Pecora. I was employee number 1. So there was just 2 other engineers when I joined there too. So the fact that I was that early helped me really understand, again, from other entrepreneurs, and kind of going back to kind of continuing to learn on my journey for my own entrepreneurship, where I wasn't ready to start something again, but I still wanted to learn. And so I really learned, we raised, $15 million in funding, and I was the first employee. I saw us grow the company and end up selling it. So again, it was another great learning experience to see how you start and scale something.